AITA for telling my dad I'm not moving state with him and his family. Original post. My parents got divorced when I 15 was 7 and my dad got married again 3 years ago. His wife has 2 little kids with her ex. He visits them twice a year, even less last year. At my dad's, I always had to be able to take care of myself. And when his wife's kids came into the house, I was expected to babysit and make sure they were taken care of too. It's 3 hours Monday to Friday when I'm at my dad's. Mom hated it for me as much as I hated it, but it wasn't something Dad would ever stop even when she talked to him. A judge didn't care when Mom told the courts about it, because siblings babysitting isn't the worst thing ever. I don't think that's fair because they're not even my siblings and they weren't my step-siblings when it first started, but I guess it doesn't matter. The kids got super attached to me. Dad argued with Mom a lot because she wouldn't make me go over to his house on her time to babysit for those 3 hours. He thought it was shitty for her to get in the way of my time with the kids, and he didn't care if I wanted to. So when Dad and his wife decided to move states, they wanted me to come. The judge said no to that when they asked because he'd be taking me away from Mom, and I lived here my whole life. The judge said if I wanted to go, it would be approved, though, and Mom couldn't stop it. But I don't want to go, and I told him that. I told him repeatedly. He told me I should be thinking more about it, that I'm a part of a bigger family, and he'd miss seeing me, and his stepkids would miss me too. But even when he was telling me that he made it so obvious, he'd also miss the babysitting I do for them. He told me to think about the long term and the good stuff the move would make possible. They're moving close to a really good school, which Dad tried to use to get Mom to make me go, but she doesn't want to only see me every few months. Dad's throwing such a fit about me saying I won't move because they're going in a couple of weeks, and I'm still not. AITA? People's opinions. You're not the a-hole at all. You have every right to decide where you want to live and to prioritize your relationship with your mom. It's super unfair that your dad has been pushing you into a caretaker role for kids who aren't even your responsibility. You're not a free babysitter, and it's not your job to make his life easier at the expense of your own happiness. Stick to your decision. NTA, my dude, your dad's acting like you're the live-in nanny he's losing, not his son. It's super clear you've been more of a babysitter than a priority to him. And honestly, you're making the right call by putting yourself first. You deserve to live where you feel supported and happy, not stuck in a role you didn't sign up for. Stay where you're comfortable, and don't let him guilt you. This is about your future, not his convenience. NDA, you're old enough to decide if you want to move states and live full-time with Dad. He's making it pretty clear that one of his main motivations in you coming is so they have a built-in babysitter. Things would only get worse for you if you go. You'd be babysitting all the time, with no doubt additional chores added on your shoulders. I'm from divorced parents too, and by the time I was a teen was so sick of the back and forth between houses. I finally said no more and moved in with my dad at 15 full-time, and everything improved for me, my mood, my grades, everything. NTA, your dad is pressuring you because he will have to pay child support to your mother if you stay behind. That's not your problem. You need to be able to spend time with your friends and get involved in extracurricular activities. You can't do that if you're having to babysit all the time. If you move with your father, you also won't be able to get a job to help pay for college. It's a lose-lose situation. Enjoy your freedom. You earned it. NTA, I am raising 2 of my grandchildren. There's a 6-year difference in age. My granddaughter has decided she wants to change my grandson's diaper occasionally. I am super uncomfortable with this because it's not her job, just like it's not your job to raise your step-siblings. And this is the true crux of the problem. You won't be their free child care, and your dad's child support could very well go up. It's not really about staying with the family, as it doesn't sound like he does much for or with you. It's about money, unfortunately. Stick to your guns on this. NTA, woohoo. 2 weeks to go, and you no longer have to bounce between homes. The after-school babysitting part, I had to do the same for my uncle. It wasn't terrible, but definitely wasn't the highlight of my day. But my family compensated me, even though it was mandatory. Lucky for you, you only had to do it the weeks you were at your dad's. It's interesting how the judge ruled it as part of chores. I have never known any kid who has 3 hours of chores to do after school per day. NTA, they should have handled babysitting before moving, not relying on you, even after you told them you hated it. They will have to pay for childcare now. Wolfgang, you're not crying because you told them point blank that it wasn't okay to force that on you, but they refused to listen. Tell him directly that he has a wife and new kids, but you're all your mom has, so it's a big no. Even with half-siblings, my older kids were never forced to watch the younger. It was always their choice.